Hello everyone, in this video we are going to make a PDF reader application for Android, and we will be using this PDF viewer library to load our PDFs. So let's get started. At first here, as you can see, I have opened a new Android project called PDF reader. So now we are into the activity main.xml. Let's change this parent layout to okay, it's already in linear layout. Okay, so inside here I'll add a Recyclerview, this androidx.recyclerview.widget, and I'll set the width and height to match parent. Alright, then I'll give this Recyclerview an ID. I'll call it Recyclerview. Alright, now let's create a custom layout for our elements. So I'll go to the res folder. Under the layout, I'll create a new layout resource file and I'll call it element underscore holder. Alright, so from here I'll change the parent layout to card view. I'll change the height to wrap content. I'll add some margin here. I'll add margin top 8 dp and margin end 8 dp. I'll also add a card elevation of 8 dp and also a card corner radius of 8 dp. Let's also add a margin to the start to 8 dp. Now inside this card view, I'll add a linear layout where I'll pass the width as match parent and the height as 150 dp. Alright, I'll also set the orientation to vertical. I'll give this a padding of 8 dp. Now inside this linear layout, I'll add a image view where I'll set the width of that image view to match parent and the height of that image view to, let's say, 120 dp. Alright, I'll add some margins here also. So margin start to 5 dp, margin top to 5 dp, and for the image I'll use this PDF icon here. So I'll just copy this and I'll paste it inside the drawable folder. Alright, so now here for the image I'll pass @drawable/PDF icon. Alright, and we'll also give an ID for our image view. So I'll just call it img PDF. Alright, now under this image view I'll also add a text view where I'll show the name of that PDF. So I'll add a text view here. I'll set the width to match parent and I'll set the height to 30 dp. I'll give this text view an ID. I'll call it text PDF name and I'll add some margins here too. So margin start, I'll give it 5 dp, margin end, I'll give it 5 dp. I'll give this a padding of 6 dp. I'll set the text color to Android color black. let's also try to write a text here like the PDF name. I'll set the text size to 15 SP. I'll make it single line, true, and I'll also add another property here called ellipse size, and I'll pass marquee, and then I'll call the marquee repeat limit to marquee forever. That is because we want this text view to be automatic scrollable. Then I'll pass scroll horizontally to true. Let's see how our UI looks. We are not getting this text view inside our card view here. So if we see, our total height is 150 dp, alright, and this is of 120, but this is not going inside the card view. Let's change the height of our linear layout to 200 dp, and now we will set the image views height to 150 dp, and of this text view we will pass 50 dp. Alright, so our UI is now done, and now we need to create a view holder and a Recyclerview adapter for our app. So let's quickly do that. So now I'll go here and create a new Java class. I'll call it PDF Viewholder, and inside here I'll extend extends Recyclerview dot viewholder. Alright, so it's showing some error because we need to create a constructor here. So before that, I'll add some variables here. For example, public text view, and I'll call it TV name, and another public card view, I'll call it container. And now I'll click here and create constructor matching super. I'll click on that. So now here we have the constructor. Now inside the constructor I'll add TV name equals item view dot find view by ID r dot id dot our text view's name was text PDF name, and did we add a name for our or an ID for our card view? Let's check that. Element holder, inside here we didn't provide an ID, so I'll pass ID container. Alright, now let's go back to the PDF view holder. So here I'll write container equals item view dot find view by ID dot container. Alright, so our view holder is now ready. Now we need to create a PDF adapter. So I'll create another class. I'll call it PDF adapter. Now here inside I'll add extends Recyclerview dot adapter, and here I'll pass our PDF view holder, and let's add some attributes here like the private context. Alt enter to solve this, and then we'll also need a list, so private list, and the list will be of file. I'll call it PDF files, and then I'll click here and I'll click on this implement methods. I'll select all of them and click OK. That will create these methods. So now for the onCreate view holder, instead of returning null, I'll return new PDF view holder, and here I'll pass layout inflator dot from. I'll pass the context here dot inflate, and here I'll call our custom layout r dot layout dot element holder. Then the second parameter is the parent, and third one is false. All right. Now inside the onBind view holder, I'll set the file name of our PDF. So I'll write holder dot tv name dot set text, and here I'll pass PDF files dot get. I'll pass the position here dot get name. All right, and then I'll set the holder dot tv name dot set selected to true, and after that inside this get item count, instead of 0 I'll pass PDF files dot size. All right, so our adapter is now ready. Now let's go to our main activity.java. Now inside here I'll define our PDF adapter. Let's give this a name PDF adapter, and then we'll also need a list. So I'll pass list of file. I'll call it PDF list, and finally we need our Recyclerview. I'll call it Recyclerview. Now here at first we need to access the device storage where we can get the PDF files. So for this we need to create a method to ask the runtime permission. So for this I'll go to our manifest file, and here I need to define the permission. So inside here I'll write uses permission android.permission.read external storage. All right, now let's go back to our main activity.java. Now in order to ask the runtime permission, we will be using a library. So I'll use this Dexter library. So from here I'll just copy this dependency, and I'll go to the Gradle app level Gradle file, and here I'll paste that and click on sync now. I'll give the link of this library in the description. So let's wait for it to complete. Okay, so once it's done, we can go back to our main activity.java, and here I'll create a method called runtime permission, and I'll create this method. Let's put a semicolon here. Alright, now inside this method I'll write Dexter dot with context, and here I'll pass our context, which is main activity dot this, and then dot with permission I'll pass the manifest dot permission dot read external storage, and then dot with listener. I'll create a new permission listener here, so new permission listener. Alright, so here we got three methods called the on permission granted, on permission denied, and on permission rational should be shown. So for the on permission granted, I'll call a method called Displaypdf. We will implement this later. And for the on permission denied, I'll give a toast message here where I'll say permission is required. Alright, and now for the on permission rational, I'll pass the permission token, which we are getting from here. As you can see, the permission token, this one. So permission token dot continue permission request. Alright, so what that will do is, if user declines the permission request, then once the user opens the app again, it will continuously ask the permission. Alright, so now let's define this method. So I'll click on create method and I'll click on this main activity. So one thing we forgot here is inside this runtime permission method, outside here we need to write dot check. Alright, now it's done. So actually, before defining this Displaypdf method, I'll create another method called public array list of file. I'll call it find PDF, where I'll pass a file. I'll call a array list of file. I'll name it array list equals new array list, and files equal file dot list files. All right, so now what I want to do here is, we'll call this method and pass a file here, and this method will check if that file that we are passing here is a PDF or not. So let's run a for loop here. So I'll write for file single file in files we will check if that single file is a directory and if that single file dot is not hidden. Alright, this is because we don't need to explore those hidden directories. So with this condition, we'll check if the single file is a directory or not. So if it is a directory and it's not hidden, then we will search inside that directory. Alright, so inside here I'll write array list dot add all, and here I'll again call the find PDF and I'll pass the single file. Alright, now for the else statement, I'll check if that single file dot get name dot ends with PDF or not dot PDF. So if we find that our single file name ends with .pdf, that means this file is a PDF file. So I'll call the array list dot add, and here I'll pass the single file. Alright, so now inside that array list we have all the PDF files. So now from here I'll just return that array list. So I'll return array list. Alright, now let's go to our Displaypdf method, and here I'll call our Recyclerview equals find view by id r.id.recyclerview, and then Recyclerview dot set has fixed size to true. Then we will set layout of our Recyclerview. So Recyclerview dot set layout manager, and I will add a new grid layout manager, and the first parameter is the context, which is this, and the second parameter is the span count. So I'll pass 3 here. This 3 is because we need to show 3 elements in a row. Then let's call PDF list equal new array list, then PDF list dot add all, and here I'll call the find PDF method, and inside the find PDF method I'll pass our internal storage. So I'll write environment dot get external storage directory. Alright, and then I'll call the PDF adapter equals new PDF adapter, and here I'll pass the context and the PDF list. Oops, it's showing error. Okay, so here we forgot to add a constructor, so I'll just quickly add that. Right click here, generate constructor, I'll select both and click on OK. So here our constructor is ready. Now let's go back to the main activity. So here, as you can see, the error is now solved, and then we can call our Recyclerview and we'll set the adapter. I'll pass our PDF adapter here. Now let's run our application to see if we are getting our PDF files from our storage or not. As you can see, our app has been opened and it's asking for the storage permission. I'll allow this. As you can see, here is all the PDF inside our Android phone. So in the next video we will see how we can add on-click listener on each of these items and load the PDFs inside the PDF view. Thank you so much for watching.